back to another penny stock video. Today we're taking a look at ticker symbol ARAI. That's Arrive AI Inc. Trading on the NASDAQ right around 67 cents right now. Closed around 67 cents today. And this is a beaten down, as you can see, very beaten down, very cheap drone play. And drones obviously in the news a lot right now, especially because of the global conflicts happening. And of course, not just with military conflict, but also with delivery services, with agriculture, etc. Right? There's so many applications for these drones, and we're finally, in a time in history in which these drones can be mass-produced and mass-operated and offer a lot to our lives, right? So, drone industry expected to heat up significantly throughout the year. We've talked about the Part 108 FAA rule change coming, expected in 2026, which is this year, right? So that could be a major catalyst for the drone industry, and we'll dig a little deeper into that later in the video. But let's just jump into ARAI here and what's nice about it. First of all, you have 87.7% insider ownership. That's quite significant. So it really only is a 4.46 million share float. So quite the small float here, especially for the price, right? And the market cap's under 25 million. So a very cheap and beaten down stock, which of course can present opportunities, especially if you're a trader looking for a nice run. You typically look for these beaten down ones, right? That have a lot of potential upside from their current prices. So let's take a look at a couple really positive things about ARAI. First of all, this is their most recent news from April 6th here, which is Arrive AI secures 10th U.S. patent, positioning as the critical infrastructure layer for autonomous delivery at scale. So obviously, securing patents is of course, excuse my stutter there, is of course a strong catalyst for these stocks, right? We see these small cap stocks run quite often off of these patent approved catalysts. So we'll read through this PR a bit here to talk about what this patent's all about. So you can see the newly patented capability allows multiple people to use the same secure Arrive point. Each unit can handle packages for many users with built-in storage and sorting to manage deliveries and pickups efficiently. It offers the same security, chain of custody, and communication features as a single Arrive point, but it is designed for shared use across multiple homes or businesses. Additionally, this patent advances the intelligence and coordination capabilities of Arrive AI's platform, enhancing how secure delivery endpoints interact with drones, ground robotics, and human couriers. And then they talk about the missing link in a multi-billion-dollar market. This milestone comes at a time when autonomous delivery companies are rapidly gaining investor attention and commanding multi-billion-dollar valuations. This is true. With recent financing rounds totaling hundreds of millions of dollars, operators scale commercial deployments across the United States. And we talked about in our last video covering BTBD, which is a drone merger, and we talked about how they were already working with companies like UPS, right, to scale up drone deliveries. So this is something that the major delivery services, delivery companies, FedEx, UPS, Amazon, etc., are very interested in, is these autonomous drone delivery companies such as ARAI. Okay, so they call that the missing link in a multi-billion-dollar market because this patent will really help them grow to become a large-scale servicer, right, for these companies that are interested in using drones for autonomous delivery. So then we also have their Q3 2025 results. So we're going back to November 14th here, but this is important because, well, first of all, we haven't seen their Q4 yet. That's coming soon. But the Q3 key financial results, what we're really highlighting here is cash and short-term liquid investments. So they had $2.7 million cash at quarter end, which was an increase of $2.1 million from the end of the prior quarter. Proceeds from the capital line of $4 million were received in August. So what does this mean? Well, it means the company has a significant amount of cash on hand to finance and fund, their growth. And that's a positive thing that we look for, especially with these small cap plays that have been beaten down, right? Because we want to avoid further dilution. We want to avoid falling into that trap as traders of being diluted on. So something we always look for is, do they have a strong cash position? And in the case of ARAI, they do. So that's a huge positive for this stock as well. And then if we take a look at their website here, nice website, Autonomy Unlocked, connecting people, robots, and drones through the Arrive Point network, which of course they just had that new patent approved in relating to this as well. Okay, it's built to scale the future of delivery. You can see they've been featured in all kinds of different news sources, iHeartRadio, CBS News, Fox Business, all these different news sources, SiriusXM, etc., have talked about this company. Okay, and this is what they do. You can see it's a nice website. If you want to check it out, it's ARAI.com. They have a lot of information here, such as asynchronous delivery with 24/7 access. So obviously, just reading this and understanding how delivery services work today, it should be obvious that this is a game changer. If these delivery companies, imagine Amazon, they get your order and they're just able to autonomously deliver it via drone 24/7. I mean, that is a game changer for these delivery services, right? So these guys are really creating some critical infrastructure and technology for this to happen. And of course, this syncs up really nicely with what we talked about in the last video as well, which is this FAA's proposed Part 108. So this is the new proposed FAA rule. It's expected to go into effect sometime in 2026 this year. So what this really does, and there's a great article here from the pilotinstitute.com, Part 108 explained the FAA's new drone regulations. And essentially this is going to enable what we just talked about, right? Which is wide-scale use of delivery service drones. So they're going to be able to Amazon, FedEx, UPS, again, all these names are really going to be able to significantly scale up their drone delivery operations after Part 108 goes into effect. You can see what is Part 108. Part 108 is a proposed FAA rule for routine beyond visual line of sight drone flights with minimal pilot input. It covers delivery, farming, inspection, and more, still in the proposal stage. Okay, and Part 107, it was about line of sight pilot control drones. Now they're expanding with Part 108 to autonomous, beyond visible line of sight, larger drones for wide scale operations. And it talks about here in the new Part 108 rules, FAA introduced a framework to mainstream autonomous drone operations. Simply put, Part 108 is a proposed legislation that focuses on autonomous flight using beyond visual line of sight operations with minimal human supervision. That is going to be key if we're going to scale the drone industry, right? Part 108 attempts to reduce the headache of seeking waivers and exemptions, instead offering a transparent, scalable, and reliable framework for conducting routine beyond visual line of sight flights in the United States. So, knowing that this rule change is going to come this year, and it's going to have a massive impact on the drone industry and its ability to scale into larger operations, and knowing that these companies, UPS, FedEx, Amazon, etc., that are heavy in the delivery service industry, are very interested in expanding their drone fleets and using and utilizing these autonomous drones. So knowing that all of this is coming, you have to be interested in companies that are at the forefront of this technology, right? And Arrive AI really fits the bill there. So that's ARAI on the NASDAQ. Again, heavily beaten down. Penny stock here with a lot of different upside targets that you could, draw on your chart here to evaluate, okay, what's the upside potential of this stock? But you can see here, I mean, there was a support at $3 that hasn't really been retested much. You have your moving averages over $1 here, right? The 200 MA, 50 MA, etc., all trading above $1 in terms of moving averages. So there's a couple of different upside targets you could have with this stock, and then of course the small float as well makes that especially appealing. Plus, right, we talked about they have the cash and short-term liquid investments of $2.7 million cash by the end of their Q3. So they're in a pretty good cash position as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Keep an eye on these drone stocks. They're going to continue to be hot throughout the year, especially, again, when this Part 108 goes through and you start seeing this industry really scale up at a rapid pace, and it's going to happen. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.